Hi everybody, welcome back to class. Hope everyone's having a great week. We're going to take a look at session 11 and see what has to be done in this class session. It will also preview the final writing project and carry over a little bit to what we're going to be doing in session 12. So let's take a look at what we have to do this week. We'll go down to the session 11 informative essay final draft folder. There's the session overview. I know you'll read that later. Learning objectives. And let's take a look at the learning activities, the assignments, and the assessments. In this week, we're going to finish off steps 7 through 10 in the informative essay. The final 4 steps. Conduct peer response feedback. Look at one and only one chapter in the textbook, Understanding Argument. Take a preview at Writing Project 4. There's a PowerPoint on the argument essay and a supplemental resource on thesis statements. I always say that that supplemental resources are just those, supplemental. You don't have to look at them if you don't want to. But this week, I think everyone would benefit from looking at the supplemental resource. So take a look. There are only 2 assignments. Session 11 and Session 12, you're going to begin those on the thesis statement workshop. You're only writing your initial post for this week, and you'll finish that off next week in Session 12. And last, the one you've been looking for, the final draft of Writing Project 3 of the informative essay. Now, I want to point out there is a difference between the informative essay and the argument essay. And there was 1 or 2 instances where some folks may have gotten these two confused, and that's understandable. The informative essay, the writing project number 3, the purpose of it was to examine an issue and give both sides, not to advocate one side over the other, and not to give your personal opinion. Simply pick an issue that's important to you and give both sides. In writing project 4, you're going to be picking one of the 2 sides and arguing that position. You're trying to convince. That's the difference between the 2. But let's take a little more detailed look at the learning activities for session 11. Here's Writing Project 3, Informative Essay, and there is a change in this, so take notes. And when I say change, I mean there's a change for the folks in my class, not Mike Cooney's class, over Writing Project 3 and what you have to turn in. Of course, we see steps 1 through 6. You've already done these. So let's look at steps 7 through 10, the last 4. First, you're going to conduct peer response in class session 10. Many of you have finished this, and that's great. You've also gotten responses from me about Writing Project 3. I've had 1 or 2 folks who reached out to me who said they couldn't read my comments that I made to them. If you're still unable to see the comments, get in contact with me and I'll try and send them to you another way. The folks that contacted me and said they couldn't see my comments, when I sent it to them in an alternative method, using an alternative method, they were able to see my comments, and hopefully they found those helpful. So if you're still not seeing comments from me, please contact me. And of course, you've gotten feedback from everyone else in the class. The purpose of these feedback comments is to help you to improve your draft. Now here's the change. It says along with your final draft you will submit a cover letter. I've already read your first draft, and I'll read your final draft, and I can compare the 2, and I will know what changes you've made. So I don't think the cover letter is important. In other words, scratch that part of the assignment. Don't do the cover letter. Now, if you're in Mike Cooney's class and you're seeing this video, he may have different instructions for you. So always defer to what he says. But for the students in my class, I'm scratching the cover letter. I don't think it's necessary. I want to see a good final draft from you, and I want you to spend your time and attention working on that. Step 9 says Make changes to your draft based on language choices, developing your voice, tone, and writing style in the draft. Make sure, as you reread your draft before you turn it in, that it doesn't contain any personal opinion. I'm not interested yet in what you have to say about this issue. In Writing Project 3, you're only giving two sides of an issue, giving them equal weight and maintaining a neutral voice. And again, don't do the cover letter. And last, before you turn it in, look for errors in grammar, punctuation, spelling, and correct them. In other words, give your essay to someone else, let them read it. They'll tell you what parts make sense and don't make sense. I recommend you don't give it to a close relative. Those don't go well. Give it to someone else. Have them read it. And use F7. F7 is not only spell check, but it's grammar check as well. Now I'll let you in on a little secret. When I'm reading someone's final essay for a writing project, the first thing I do is hit F7 to check for spelling, grammar, and punctuation problems. Well, if I'm using it, you can beat me to the punch and you can use it too, and use it first. When I hit F7 and it comes back, no errors found, it's going to be a good day for you and it's going to be a good day for me. Make sure you do that. Again, don't write the cover letter. Just turn in your final draft. And we'll talk about this in just a few minutes. You're going to turn in your final draft, as always, in two places in class session 11. Let's go back to our class session and see what else we have to do. Peer response. Many of you are done with this. Not all, but many. And I thought the discussion, I read all these, I don't comment, but I thought these were pretty well done. Let's take a look at one example. If you're still finishing this, we're going to look at Shauna's draft. Shauna did a nice job with her draft. In fact, just about everybody did. Here's the essay. I'm not going to open that one. Here is the response from Jenny Engel. Jenny did a nice job with her comments. Notice this is Shauna's draft, her situational analysis. Here is the essay itself, which was well done. Here is Shauna's works cited page, which was very well done. That's a good example. And last, here are Jenny's comments. And notice Jenny put them exactly where they're supposed to go. She added them to the end of the essay. You can make comments to the person that wrote the draft in the comments section on Blackboard, but I want to see them here at the end of the essay. That's where they're supposed to go. Let's go back to the class session. If we can ever get there. Here is the textbook. You can read chapter 11 here, or if you have the physical textbook, simply read it there. It's pretty well done. And we'll get into writing project 4. Now, don't get too far ahead of me. We're not starting writing project 4, but we're thinking about writing project 4. Because this is an argument essay, the most important thing that you need to be concerned with right now is developing a good thesis statement. What is it you're trying to prove? And as we look at writing project 4, look here. You're going to use the same problem, issue, or controversy that you wrote about for writing project 3. You don't have to pick a new subject. You've already picked this subject. You've already written what other people have to say about this subject, and you've already found sources for this subject. So in writing project 4, same subject, but this time you're going to put a different slant on it, and you're going to argue your position. As it mentions here in the instructions, the goal of writing Project 4 is to persuade your audience. So let's think about who the audience might be. The audience is not, in your situational analysis, me or the other people in this class. The audience for writing Project 4 are the people you're trying to convince. And who might those people be? The ones that have a stake in the issue. The ones who might care about your position. Who can benefit from hearing your argument. Who needs to be made aware of the issue and who is impacted by the issue. That is your audience. So when you write your situational analysis, remember, you're writing for those folks. Your medium for the project is an academic paper. Big surprise, this is an English class. Your first draft will be 1,250 words. Your final draft will be about 1,500 words. Of course, we're only using MLA style. We never use APA. Step 4, have something to say. Step 5, begin to write a first draft. Notice that the first draft is not due until class session 13. We're only in session 11 now, so don't wig out on me. Don't be concerned that you have to now write 1,250 words for a draft. You will, and you'll turn those in class session 13. But I want you to start thinking about the project now. When you do turn it in class session 13, you're going to turn in your first draft and your situational analysis. And remember, your situational analysis, the audience are the people you're trying to convince. So that's just a look ahead, because that is the last writing project in this class, and it is the biggest. The time to start thinking about what your essay is going to say is now, even if you're not writing a draft. Here is a PowerPoint on being an attorney. And I like this PowerPoint because in writing Project 4, you are trying to argue, you are trying to convince, and that's exactly what an attorney in a courtroom does. They have one side, they know the other side, but they're only advocating their point of view. I won't go through every screen in this, I know you will. But notice it says in the informative essay, you were asked to think like an investigator, giving both sides, only writing what you can prove that someone else has said, not personal opinion. But in the argument essay, you're going to pick one of those two sides, the same subject that you use for writing Project 3, and this time advocate. I won't go through the rest of those screens because I know you're going to look at those. And here's the supplemental resource on thesis statements. I won't open this up because I'm recommending that everyone in the class should take a look at this. It will help you. You can't write a good argumentative essay without having a good thesis statement. So take a look. Let's take a look at the assignments and assessments. They are relatively brief because you're working on your final version of writing Project 3. Session 11 and Session 12, we're now just beginning this. We will finish it in Session 12. Discussion board. And the discussion board is about thesis statements because they are so important. Here are the instructions. Go back to writing Project 3, paste it to the start of your post, and then address the following questions. Provide a thesis statement of each type, a claim or definition or classification, a claim about cause and effect, a claim about value, and a claim about solutions or policies. Reflect on those questions and then answer the following. Your first post is going to be about 200 words. In Session 12, the other folks in the class will be responding to your Session 11 post. So let's take a look. I think there's one already out there. One as of this morning. Yep, still only one. And this is written by Mike. And I think he did a nice job. He begins by listing his thesis, and then he addresses the 4 questions. If you're looking for a model to follow, this is probably a good one. if you want to get started on session 12, you could respond to this one right now. But get your first one done. Your own post first, I should say. And here is writing project 3. As always, you're going to turn this in 2 places. Oops, went to the wrong screen, my mistake. This one comes directly to me. This one goes to Turn It In. This is the one I grade on, and this is the one that gives me an originality report. Simple enough. Turn them in both places. Can it be true? We've covered everything. Let's take a look. Writing project 3, steps 7 through 10. Conducting peer response. Many of you have done very good work on this. Look at chapter 11, understanding argument, because writing project 4 is an argument essay. We previewed writing project 4. Again, you're using the same subject that you used for writing project 3. Look at the PowerPoint for the argument essay. Everyone should take a look at thesis statements. I can't emphasize enough, this is very important. We're going to start the discussion board for session 11 and session 12. And you're turning in the final draft of writing project 3, the informative essay, and using F7 before you turn it in. How many times can I say that? A lot. I think that covers it for session 11. Again, I welcome your comments, I welcome your thoughts, I welcome your questions. If you want to text me, the phone number is 812-498-4200. If you want to call me, the number is 800-416-1747. It's a free call. You can write to me, MSTENGER and the number 1 at ivtech.edu, or MSTENGER at metlife.com. Good luck, everyone. I look forward to reading your final drafts. I'll be getting grades out as soon as I can get through reading those. I want to get this video uploaded today because it'll take me a day or two to get through all those. Check the gradebook frequently. If you see something you think you should have gotten a grade for and it's not listed there for some reason, by all means, call me, text me, reach out to me. We'll take a look at it together. I hope everyone has a great week. On behalf of myself and Mike Cooney and the students in his class, have a great week, everybody.